Hello, welcome back to Two Crones and a Mic. We're so excited you're here to listen to our episode today.
Absolutely. Welcome back. So we're going to
So,
start. Do you want me to go ahead and
yes,
start? Yeah.
no, you go ahead and start.
All right. So we always want to start with some kind of a centering or grounding breath, meditation, even if you wanted to call it even a prayer or something like that. Definitely not anything denominational, just something to get us all into the space together, because no matter where you are listening from and what time you're listening to this, the intention is that we're joining our hearts and our minds and our intentions to be together.
Yes.
And so we want to be very intentional about that. So I invite everyone to just take a moment, and if it is safe for you to do so, lower or close your eyes. Take that nice, deep, cleansing breath and just drop your awareness into your heart center. It is that beating of the heart that reminds us our purpose for this world, to be here, to show up, and to serve. So, anytime that we begin to feel ungrounded, unsettled, frustrated with the state of the world, frustrated with the state of our lives, we return to breath. We return to our beating hearts. So we stay here for one more breath. We set our intention to join together with our hearts and our minds, to create that community where it is safe to share, where we only share our stories, and we listen to each other's stories. And even if it is not our experience, we believe the storyteller and we hold space for their experience. And breathe in and exhale. And so it is. Here we are.
So it is. Amen.
All right.
So,
So,
do we want to
yeah,
talk about why we chose the word crone?
we do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think first, what I want to say is you and I, we decided to do this through the urging of my husband.
That's
And,
very true.
and he
If it
said,
wasn't for him, I don't think we would be sitting here.
oh, I don't think so either, because I think it was very much a surprise for you.
Mm-hmm.
You were the one who kept saying, "Are you sure you want to do this with me? Are you sure
That's
you want to
true.
do this?"
That's true.
My husband has a lot of insight and a lot of wisdom, and he was like, "It's the two of you. The two of you need to do this." And so we talked about it. And I was driving home from work one day, and I was really thinking about this. And I was like, what would be something simple that just allows us to talk about everything that we need to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
And literally the words, two crones with a mic,
Yep.
came into came into
Yes.
my brain. And I texted you as soon as I got home. I was like, two crones with a mic. And you're like, I love it. Because it
Yes.
leaves it really, really, really open for us to to talk about women and women's empowerment, and just all things women. And two, it gives us the ability to share the wisdom that comes
Mm-hmm.
through us in our messaging.
Right. So,
Yes.
yes, this happened literally overnight. I mean, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while, but I didn't want to do it alone. It's
Mhm.
more fun if you have someone with you. And for probably a year or two, I just had it in my mind about doing a podcast, but I really didn't reach out to anybody,
Mhm.
to be my co-host. So I guess when you don't make a decision, spirit makes one for you. And so here you are. You messaged me. Well, actually, your husband messaged me first and
Mhm,
said,
yeah.
"Okay, yeah, I can see it. Yeah, if she's up to it, I'm totally open to it." And so, well, here we are. I mean, it
Here we
happened
are.
pretty fast.
It really did. It's actually only been like 4 months since we
Yes,
started the planning
yes,
process, and
correct.
actually the last, what, month and a half has
Mhm.
just been trying to figure out the technology.
Yes. Yeah. It's been challenging, but I think we got it. We got it.
I think so. So the and so I decided to do a little bunny trail, if you will, a little rabbit going down a rabbit hole of the word crone. And through various websites, but the website that I chose now, I think is I think it was called like Crone something. It's not on my phone right now. But anyway, I um I chose the word crone. I'm actually going to try to find it because I really want to give them the props for this. Um I promise to get it in there. It was actually croneconfidence.com. That's what it was called. Croneconfidence.com. This is where I got this from. Well, I got part of it from. Some of it I actually looked at myself. So the words like crone and hag all have had in the past really derogatory meanings and directives like towards women, right? And
Unfortunately,
yeah,
yeah.
unfortunately, exactly. And the truth is, hag actually stems from the study. It's a Greek study of hagiology, which is holy people.
Ooh,
And so hag actually for the longest time meant a holy woman, a woman who nowadays we might call her a shaman or a doctor or a minister. She was a holy woman. And of course, they took away the study of holy women, and hagiology is typically just the study of holy men like saints and people like that. And then there's the word crone. And crone, in its simplest terms, actually kind of means women who are no longer able to bear children.
mhm,
And that's kind of its simplest term. However, in ancient times, the crone was an older woman who enjoyed a special revered status. Now, this came from croneconfidence.com. This elder woman was viewed as a fountain of wisdom, law, healing skills, and moral leadership. Her presence and leadership were treasured at every single tribal ceremony and at the personal occasion from birth to death. The modern crone, and this is where you and I came in. The modern
mhm.
crone is a healthy, vibrant older woman who has the wisdom of a lifetime of adventures and experiences. She has done everything that society has expected of her and is now at a stage in life where she has gained enough confidence to step fully into her own power and finally imagine, create, and fulfill her wildest desires. She is sovereign unto herself, and her status in society is hers to decide.
Hallelujah. That's exactly how I feel. I'm also in my 50s and I'm not really scared of getting older. I feel like it's empowering. I
Yeah.
feel very empowered. I feel independent. I feel I can do whatever I want at this stage in my life, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I've not been able to bear children for at least 8 years. I had problems before that. And I will be really honest, I was early on, I was very worried about, like, getting older, like the wrinkles and the gray
Mhm,
hair and all that stuff. And something has super shifted in me lately. I definitely still engage in skincare, but I engage in it from a perspective of health.
mhm.
Because she is a vibrant, the crone is vibrant and
Correct,
healthy.
correct.
And so everything I do as a way of self-love and self-care,
Mhm,
not because I give two craps about what anybody thinks of me.
yeah.
And so the workouts that I do, the skincare, the food that I eat, that is all for me.
Yeah.
not for anyone else. Yeah.
It's time to step out of this matrix that we kind of accepted, and I can't even remember when I did accept that. I just went along with it. But as soon as
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's really sneaks up on you. You just go with it, and you just at some point. I mean, some people may never wake up or break out, but I'm just so glad I did. I'm just so
Y-
glad I,
I think,
I
yeah.
you know,
I think you said a mouthful there. I don't
yeah.
know that we actually, I really got to think about this for a second. I don't know that I actually was like, yeah, that's the beauty standard I want to uphold. I don't know that
Mhm.
I actually agreed to it, but
Yeah,
I was just like, oh, okay. If that's what we think is the beauty standard, I guess that's the beauty standard. I think I just kind
I
of
know.
like you, I didn't agree to it, but I went
You
along with
didn't.
it.
You didn't. You
Yeah.
just go along with it because it's everywhere. It's everywhere all day
Mhm.
long. Wherever you go, it's always about 500 ways or 500 makeup tricks to make you look younger.
Mhm.
Um, 20 new different diets to make you lose 10 pounds in a week. It's like you're being bombarded with all that all day long. It's like literally
Yeah.
part of your life, but it's like, you know, hopefully at some point we say, no more of that. It's now
Mhm.
about me, not
Yeah.
what somebody else tells me I need to be
Yeah.
doing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about that. I really didn't understand self-love, that's
Mhm.
we're Gen Xers.
Yeah.
We really didn't really get into all of that, but I've gotta thank these younger generations for uh, teaching us what self-love and all of that really means, and,
Mhm.
it's just I was just meeting with a girlfriend of mine, and, she was asking me, like, what do you hear that?
There
There's
was a
like a n
knocking.
there was a knocking.
There was a loud knocking. Yeah, I heard that.
The heck was
It's
it?
go I mean, I've been thinking, like, is it the washing machine in the basement? But I got nothing down there. That is spooky, people. Okay, so first of all, we have to say you will never know what you're going to get with us, okay?
I don't know, and we're gonna leave this. We need to
Yeah,
leave
we're going
this
to leave this.
because what happened the first time we tried to do this was about a month ago. All of a sudden, everything turned off except our mics. Like,
Yeah,
remember the camera, the lights, everything turned off except our mics. You just don't know what you're gonna get with Bettina and I because, well, weird stuff happens around us all the time.
all the time.
So all the time. So we're gonna leave that. If y'all hear the knocking, we don't know what that was either, but it was
Yeah.
definitely in my ears, and it sounded like it was going throughout the house.
Oh, yeah.
And we're
Like
in the
somebody
same
knocking
house, we're
on
just in
a
different rooms, right?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, and it just sounded like somebody was knocking somewhere. It was the craziest. Okay, well, we're gonna see if it plays back. But to go, I was having coffee with a girlfriend today, and and I'm all about telling um my story, trying not to tell their story. So my version of the story is this: she was she's been with someone for almost 30 years, and she said, "Indira, I don't know what to do. I don't think I'm in love with him anymore. I love him, but I think I love me more."
Mhm.
And she said, "And I'm just not getting what I need out of it." And I heard her, and I said, I think it's really brave of you to love yourself more right now. And if you're not getting what you want out of that, if you're not getting to live out loud, if you're
Mhm.
not getting to experience the life that you want to experience, and if it feels right to you, none of us are going to tell you not to do
Yeah.
this, not to do what you need to do to take care of you. And she's older than both you and I.
Mhm.
And I basically said, you still have a whole lot of life in you. And if you're not having those those toe curling, knee buckling experiences that you crave. It's,
Hmm.
you don't feel like you're living, then you do what's in your heart and your mind to do. I'm not going to tell you to do one thing or the other, but
Exactly.
this is what I think I hear you saying. And
Hmm.
I'm going to validate that you're not feeling it, girl. You're not
Yeah.
feeling it. And I'm going to validate whatever you choose. Know that you have my support.
Yes.
And it was very eye opening because I remember being in my 30s or 40s and it was all about my partner. And it was
Mm-hmm.
all about, family. And I'm all about partners and families. I love my husband dearly. I would do anything for him. And also, I have to love me first and I
Yes.
have to love me most,
Yes.
because if I don't, he's not going to, like
Exactly.
he's not going to get, he's very loving, but I want him to love himself first. He's not going to get the, well, he can't love me enough for me. I've got to
Hmm.
love me enough for me. That's what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say.
Hmm.
So
Right.
yeah. And you're a
It's
single woman. You haven't
I'm
been married
I'm
for a
very
while.
single. I'm very single, and right now, I mean, I have nothing against relationship or marriage. If it works for you, beautiful. I mean, two thumbs up. I give you all the power. For me, it has not been working. So I've been married 3 times, and each time I feel like the one that I chose was totally different than the one before. And I always thought that's the solution, but it's not. I don't think that I really looked into myself deep enough to figure out who I am and what I want. And then not only that, but be courageous enough to speak up and say, this is what I want, and I'm not settling for less. What I noticed about myself, especially in the last one, is I totally lost myself.
Mhm,
It was all about what he wants. um, and I really, and I don't want to bash anybody, but I just figured out way too late that it was a totally narcissistic relationship. But
mhm,
when you grow up, sometimes you're being taught you have to be nice and you have to be polite, and and don't be too loud and don't be too this. But it's, my gosh, it doesn't get you anywhere. It just gets
mhm,
you heartbreak and struggle. It's, you really, I feel like when you if you I mean, I have nothing against men, okay? I
mhm,
don't have any sons. I have 2 daughters.
mhm,
But when I was raising them, I made sure that I encouraged them every single day. And I
mhm,
always told them, if you're ever in a relationship and it doesn't work out, you can always come home. Okay.
mhm,
So I didn't have that when I was
mhm.
growing up. I mean, I knew I could come home if things don't work out. So that wasn't the issue, but I had no role models. No
Yeah.
role models. I had to
We
learn
didn't
it
have
all
a
on my.
lot.
No.
We didn't have a lot in Gen X. Our
Gen
role
X was
models were
like,
Hollywood, and the characters we had were always wanting to be with men, I
mhm,
have nothing against men either. You and I
no,
discussed.
right.
Between the 2 of us, we've been married 7 times. We love men. We
We
actually
do.
really love
Maybe too much.
So, but you said something that I really loved, and this is what my friend said today too, and she
Mhm.
said, "This is what I want, and I won't settle for less."
Thank
And
you.
she says, "I've been settling for so long,
Mhm,
I won't settle for less." And I said, "Oh my gosh," like, that's incredible, and what's more is if the other person doesn't wanna be a part of that,
mhm,
whatever that is, if they don't want to, in her case, she, there's certain things that she's asked her partner, "Do you wanna be a part of this?" And they said, "No," and she said, "Okay,
mhm,
well, I do."
mhm.
And it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
My partner, on the other hand, pretty much anything I wanna do, he's on board for. He's like, "Wanna sell everything we own and go, get in a
Mhm.
motorhome and drive across the country, he
Like an
would be,
RV or
yeah,
something?
he'd be down for it, like in a heartbeat. Like, that's fine, let's do it.
Yeah.
He is game for anything. But it at the end of the day, it really is about what feeds us, what makes us feel
Mhm,
vital. And that was the other part that you and I had talked about when we decided to do this podcast. It was about being of a certain age
mhm.
and feeling vital and vibrant and like we had something to still offer the world,
Yeah.
but not knowing how to do it because we had settled for
Mhm.
less than what we wanted and less than what we deserved. And we are
Yes.
in no way telling everybody to go out and leave their husbands and,
Mm-mm,
get
no, of
drive
course
drive RVs and all that. If whatever makes you happy, do it.
not.
And if you are too afraid to do what makes you happy, that's fine too. We're still here.
Mhm.
Like
Exactly.
as I mentioned, I've lived small so many times.
Mhm,
And that's not a judgment. It's, if we choose to live small because it's scary because we've been traumatized,
mhm.
that's just a fact, and we gotta get over ourselves if we think that it's somehow a judgment. I've lived small because I've been traumatized,
Yeah.
and I'm still learning to live
Mhm.
big, to live out loud. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. You know,
No, no, it doesn't.
baby
Yeah,
steps. But you
yeah.
have to start. At least if you feel like there's something else out there for you. I mean, I'm sure there are people that are totally content with their lives, and that's beautiful. I
Mhm,
mean, I am excited for those people because they have it figured out, you
mhm,
know. But if you haven't, if you feel like there is something inside of you that is yearning for more,
mhm.
you speak up,
And do it.
okay? And
Yeah,
and do it.
yeah.
Do it.
So,
Just do it.
I wanna use an example, okay?
Yes.
So, I went to high school. I was just a very, very dear friend of mine, and she met her now husband. Now we graduated from high school. I don't want to tell you how long ago it was. I don't know if I can do the math. It's been that long ago. Um, really, I'm gonna have to get a
It's okay.
calculator out. I don't even know how long it's been. So, so anyway, but they've been married for that long. It's been 34. They've been married for 34 years. So we graduated. It'll be 30. This would be our 35th year, I think, our
Mhm,
35th anniversary, or of high school graduation. Anyway, they met in high school. They graduated, or they got married in 1990, and they are still the happiest people together. And
mhm,
it's beautiful to me, and I
mhm,
don't judge it at all. Was it for me? Absolutely not. But this
mhm.
is the thing, I can love her and honor her and her decisions and her choices as long as she's being true to herself and her heart and her mind and her soul. There's no judgment. I have nothing to judge about it. She is very happy with him. He is very happy with her. And I've been listening to hair bands a lot. You and I talk about music. I've been listening to
Yes.
hair bands a lot. And their wedding song was Love of a Lifetime by Firehouse, which was really big back then.
Wow.
And that was their wedding song. And I listen to it every time, and I can still see them dancing to it, with her big 80s, like
The pool
shoulder pad,
arms.
the poofy wedding dress and all. And at the time I was like, oh man, like she's missing out on so much living. She's not going to college. She's not doing. No, that was my path, not hers. Her path
Yeah.
was to meet him in high school and to have children and to be married and to just be happy being married to each other. And that
Mhm,
is that is so gorgeous. And so I feel like if whatever your path is, we're not judging it. We're
mm-mm,
just saying,
mhm.
if you're not happy, we want to give you the courage and the encouragement and the inspiration to do what makes you happy.
Yes.
And in no way is that ever like leaving anything
Mhm,
and going out and quitting something or whatever. It's you have to do what your heart and soul are
mhm,
aligned to do.
mhm.
But we're gonna give you examples from our lives that where
Yes.
you and I have both done things that, that were big or little or whatever, but we it got it I'm still not living out loud. I'm still not living my
No.
best life. I still have a whole lot that I wanna do. But man, the changes even in the last 4 months since you and I started
Mhm.
this
Yeah. Oh
have
gosh,
been
yes.
huge. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yes, I mean, we're going to be very open and raw with you guys. I mean, I we're going to be an open book,
Mhm.
pretty much. And so
Yeah.
hopefully that is something that would inspire you, or maybe even make a connection with us or other women, knowing that you're not alone. You know, there are ups and downs, and it's I guess that's part of life. However,
Mhm.
and we're going to be here for the other ones that are they're looking for something different, looking for something more purposeful, or trying to find their way or mission in life. So that's,
Yeah. And
we're here
we're
for you
gonna
guys.
talk about the hard stuff. We're gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna admit the last marriage that I was in was very abusive. And that is one of the times that I really lived super small. I was just trying to make it
Hmm.
to the next day without engaging in self-harm. Like,
Hmm. Oh my gosh. Yes.
it was so abusive. And if that's where you are right now, know that first, our hearts and minds are with you,
Hmm.
and second, there will be a day that you will finally have the strength and the courage to get yourself out of it if that's what
Hmm.
you wanna do.
Exactly.
I finally had that day. I had that come to Jesus day for myself, and I was like, "And I'm officially done. I cannot take
And
another
yes.
day of this." And I
Hmm.
packed everything I owned in my Subaru and drove to a friend's house and said, "I need a safe place to live
Hmm.
until I can get
Yes.
my crap together."
And you did.
And it did. Yeah. Yep, and
I'm sure
it's been a uphill journey ever since, but it's getting better.
it is.
So,
It will
mhm,
always get better.
yeah.
Always. When you choose yourself,
Mhm.
I think that's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, but that's how I feel. How,
Mhm.
when I finally chose me and myself and what's good for me and my children, that's the path I have to take.
Yeah.
That's
You remind me of, the another, like, huge buzzword that we have going on right now, which is boundaries, right?
hmm
When I choose myself when I set a really healthy boundary, I'm choosing myself.
right.
And a friend of mine, I'm gonna talk about friends a lot, and very rarely am I probably going to be talking about the same friend, because I have friends all over the country, and I've been alive for 52 years. I got friends everywhere. And but she sent me this really great definition of boundary, and it said, "A boundary does not tell you what to do for me. A boundary is something that I set because I love myself enough to say, 'This is what I will accept.' And when I set that boundary, I am teaching you how to love me in a way that I can live with." And I was like, wow, that was huge for me.
Hmm.
And because I always thought boundaries were, so I'm going to use my last marriage. And when I would tell him, "Look, I need some alone time. I'm having an anxiety attack. I can't do this right now," and he would just burst in the door, and flip lights on and scream at me because his computer wasn't working or whatever. I would say, "Look, I set the boundary. This is what I'm doing." And he just couldn't hear me, and, "You gotta fix this," and just all of it. I thought that he was violating my boundaries. In reality, I was
Hmm.
violating my own,
Hmm.
because I didn't
Yeah.
get up and walk away, and,
Hmm.
and it wasn't safe to do it at the time, but I was still violating my own boundaries of self-love and self-care.
Hmm.
And now I don't do that anymore. Now I can say, "When you do this, this is how it makes me feel, and this is how I'm gonna love me.
Hmm.
And if you continue to do it, then I'm not gonna be present here anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
choose me, because no one else is gonna choose me. I choose me."
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. We choose us. We choose ourselves.
Yeah,
You
and it's
know.
hard because we're women, and we are trained to
Hmm.
choose our children, choose our spouses, choose to sacrifice their lives, and yet there are how many movies in the world
Mm-hmm.
about women choosing themselves. First Wives Club,
Mm-hmm.
all of them chose themselves first after, after being thrown away by their husbands. Another one that comes to my mind is Waiting to Exhale, the character that Angela Bassett
Mm-hmm.
uh, played when her husband left her.
Mm-hmm.
She chose herself. She chose herself. Whitney Houston's character always chose herself. Actually, all of them chose themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, if I really think about Waiting to Exhale,
Yeah.
all of them chose themselves. And yes, they had children or they had, families to take care of, and they still were able to take care of themselves. And I think my biggest regret, if I have to choose a giant regret, my biggest regret is going to be that I stayed longer than I should have in certain places. That I betrayed myself and my trust, and I
Mm-hmm.
stayed in friendships, relationships, jobs, uh, things longer than I should have.
Yeah. I feel that. I hear that. And I think a lot of women do that because when I think back to see or to figure out why I stayed longer, it's because I just wanted to give it a real shot or a
Mhm,
try. Like I don't want to give up that soon or that
mhm.
fast,
Yeah,
and so but there comes a time when you realize there's
it's not
nothing you
gonna
can
change.
do. There's
Mhm.
nothing you can do, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and then you have to make a decision. You
Mhm.
choose yourself.
Choose yourself. Yep. Yeah. So, one of the ways that we wanted to end our show
Hmm.
was by doing, just pulling a card and doing a
Yeah.
reading, from that card. And then the other thing is, so after we get done recording it, then we are going to record a YouTube video with a message that will be released later that week. So the message is, first of all, um, we have to say, like, they're for entertainment purposes only. Like,
Hmm.
don't go out and leave this or do that or whatever. They're for
Yeah.
entertainment purposes only.
It's a
Um,
disclaimer.
yeah, they got to do the disclaimer. And take what's yours and leave the rest behind. If it doesn't resonate,
Hmm.
it's not for
Exactly.
you.
Yep.
And honest to God, if it's not resonating, it's just because we're not vibrating on the same level. So probably the podcast doesn't resonate with you either. But stick with us because one of our energies may shift a little
Yeah.
bit, right?
Yeah. I'm
So,
sure.
and then the other thing is they're timeless. And even though it may be released like in February of 2024, the message itself, whenever it comes to you, is absolutely timeless. It comes to you when you most need to hear it.
It's meant to come to you at that moment, no matter
Yeah.
what time it is.
Yeah. Do you have a card?
Not yet. Do you want to go first? Or you?
I'm gonna pull it. So I've been sitting here
Hold
just
on,
kind of
me too. I've been
shuffling.
shuffling.
I've been shoveling, and I'm using they're the Rebecca Campbell Rose Oracle. They're gorgeous. It's a gorgeous deck
Ooh.
of cards, and I actually have to read the book because the messages in here are just so profound. So this is for all of us. This is
Mhm.
our kind of our overarching message, and I am always so astonished at how much sometimes these apply. So this one is the card itself it's called Wasteland.
Mhm.
The Wastelands. Sustainability, slow down, tend to your garden. There's an anonymous 13th century French myth in the form of a poem called The Elucidation that tells the story of a king who abuses the land he's supposed to be the guardian of. The king breaks the trust of the well maidens, the spirits who are guarding the wells of the land, and they flee. The waters run dry, the plants wilt, and the land, which was once rich and fertile, becomes barren, creating a wasteland. This is the most powerful card in this deck. I have never seen this card before, by the way.
Wow.
It's a wake up call for us to stop the destructive behavior that's resulting in us becoming brittle, and unable to live in a sustainable way. Y'all, I'm not even kidding. This is literally what we were just talking
You
about.
can't make this up.
You can't make this up. The sacred feminine is abundant. She knows that the earth can provide for what we need and that she doesn't need to take more than she needs. She tends the earth around her and within her. She's the keeper of balance and the protector of all things. The rose has seen civilizations come and go. Empires rise and fall. In this card, she's delivering an urgent message to slow down and stop any way of being that is not sustainable, to release anything that is making us brittle, to tend our garden, our bodies, and the earth around us. And so then the soul inquiry, which is a journal, a journal entry, or whatever works for you,
Mhm.
is what way or ways of being are no longer sustainable for you. Quite literally. Isn't that what we just talked about?
Totally, like almost word for word. Wow, you can't make this up. Spirit is really with us.
Absolutely. What is yours?
So, funny enough, I got the medicine mother.
No way.
And so I'm going to wing it here with the message because I'm hearing things from spirit. Okay. First of all, the
Mhm.
medicine mother is really something we talked about today too, because
Yes.
women are being trained or brought up to like nourish everyone else
Yes.
before herself. So you are the
Mhm.
medicine mother who gives healing and nurturing and to everyone else, you know. But what this card means to me, or this the message I'm hearing right now is you need to turn this in to yourself as well. Okay. Yes, take care of everyone else if that's what you feel like doing, but you have to nurture yourself as well so you are able to um, give to somebody else. So you have
Yes.
to really feed yourself first. And it also says honor your inner knowing. And really what that means to me for this episode today is if you know you can't go any further, do not just go for it and honor your feelings and honor your emotions and honor what you already know inside.
Yeah.
And if you feel like that's ending it or going on a new path, just do it.
Yeah.
Honor that, knowing that that's what you have to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Take that risk, take that chance, take that step, make that
Mhm.
call, send that email,
Yes.
whatever it is. And sometimes it's as simple as, "Hey, I've been thinking about you. I'm sorry that I haven't
Mhm.
talked to you in 3 years." Checking in.
Yeah. Our
And it can
gut
be that.
feeling is really our higher self, or at least
Yeah.
that's kind of what I feel. Because when you
Yeah.
feel it in the pit of your stomach, you know that this is what you have to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining
Yes. Thank you
us
so much
for
for joining, and
yeah,
we'll see you next
and
time.
yep, and look for us on Friday at for the message. We're going to do some
Yes.
kind of a healing or a message. You don't know what's going to happen. We're going to show up in the studio
Yeah.
and whatever happens happens.
Exactly. We'll
Yep.
let spirit guide us.
Yep, absolutely.
All
All right,
righty.
guys. Thanks.
Bye.